Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about the fractions part of the Pre-Calc Advanced Summer Packet, and I'm just going to be going through these examples to help you understand them better. So if we look at example K, here it says to simplify. There's really not much you can do in the numerator. There's really no like terms. You can't really subtract. Can't really do much with that denominator either. So the best thing that you can do is basically split these into two different fractions. All right, you could split it into 15x over 5 minus 10 over 5. And that kind of breaks it down to make it a little bit easier. 15 divided by 5 is 3, so that turns into 3x. Bring down the minus sign. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So the final answer is 3x minus 2. Next example is example L. It says simplify the expression. I like to look at this kind of in three different parts. Simplify the numbers, that's just a fraction. Simplify the x's, and then finally simplify the b's. All right, so if we look at the numbers 14 and 49, I like to think, what are they both divisible by? And it's 7. So if you think about 14 divided by 7 is 2, 49 divided by 7 is 7. So that becomes the fraction 2/7. All right, next we can look at the x's. There are 9 x's on top, 7 on bottom. So I like to think cancel what they have in common. We could cancel all 7 on the bottom. If we cancel 7 on the top, we had 9 to begin with, there's still 2 left. So x squared is left on the top. Last thing, look at the b's. There's 4 on top, 1 on bottom. We could cancel the 1 on the bottom. If we cancel 1 on top, we still have 3 left, so that's b to the third. And our final answer is 2x squared b to the third all over 7. Example M, we're doing 5 times 2/3. So we're multiplying 5 by a fraction. I usually think it's easiest if we make the 5 a fraction too. If a number isn't a fraction, you could always put it over 1. And in that case, we just multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. So 5 times 2 is 10. All right, and 1 times 3 is 3. And you get 10/3. One thing to point out, you cannot cross multiply here. That does not work. You can only cross multiply if there's an equal sign in the middle, and there is not. Example N says rewrite it as a single fraction, and you should simplify your answer. So here we're adding fractions together, but you're not allowed to add fractions unless they have a common denominator. So I'd be thinking, this denominator is 10. What can we multiply 5 to get 10? We can multiply 5 by 2. So we can multiply this fraction over here by 2 over 2. The reason we do that, 2 divided by 2 is 1. You can multiply anything by 1 without changing the value. You might change the look of this fraction, but it'll actually be the same value. So if we rewrite this, this first fraction is still 1/10. Now, 2 times 2 is 4, and 5 times 2 is 10. So now we have 1/10 plus 4/10. We have a common denominator, so we're allowed to add these fractions. When you add fractions, you add the numerators. 1 plus 4 is 5, and you keep it all over that common denominator. And then it said we have to simplify. 5 over 10 is really just 1/2. If you think about dividing the top by 5 and the bottom by 5, 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. That's just 1/2. The last one, example O, it says simplify here. We're dividing fractions. You might have remembered that dividing fractions is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal of the denominator. So we could rewrite this problem, keep our numerator 3/4, all right? But we said instead of dividing by 1/7, we can change it from division to multiplication. And all we have to do is multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator. The reciprocal just means flip it over. Instead of 1/7, it's 7 over 1. And then we can multiply these fractions, multiply the tops. 3 times 7 is 21. And the bottom, 4 times 1 is 4. And your answer is 21/4. That's it for fractions. That was the last example. Hope you guys found this helpful.